like the best of times and yet the worst of times. We are seeing it everywhere. Tariff wars, the rise of AI, unemployment issues, underemployment, and even poverty. As the situation unfolds and new obstacles hit us daily, what do we feel? More fear, frustration, and stress. And then the questions hit. How can we possibly succeed in all this? Where are the real solutions? How do we even find the right path? Building your brands, building your online presence by leveraging social media platforms. It can all seem impossible, like too much to handle. But here's the truth. The situation isn't just challenging, it is demanding. It's demanding you and me to step up and claim our unique value, to set up a digital presence that actually works, to show up authentically and connect, to stack up strategies for real growth, and ultimately to stay up strong and impactful, no matter what comes next. This is the blueprint for thriving. Are you ready to meet today's demands and conquer tomorrow? This transformative summit is completely free to attend. Don't miss out. Secure your spots for the Step Up, Set Up, Show Up, Stack Up and Stay Up Summit.
Innovative instigation. Innovative instigation.
Hi everyone, welcome. This is Tepotela Aposi of Innovative Instigation Enterprise, and I am with
Lianzo Mtembu from Innovative Instigation Enterprise.
Okay, I'm the co-founder from Botswana, and he's the co-founder from
Eswatini, the Kingdom of Swatini.
Yes, so today we're streaming live from Eswatini, and the local time is 10 minutes to 9. And we are streaming currently live on LinkedIn and also on YouTube as well. Mm. And yes, the weather has become wonderfully cold, a little bit chilly this side. Anyway, we are here for the Step Up, Set Up, Show Up, Stack Up and Stay Up Summit, and we are doing day 6, which is supposed to be the final day of the summit.
Grand finale?
Yes, and so we just wanted to remind you, the summit is all about us taking a tour on how we can elevate our brands, our careers and our businesses leveraging social media, especially looking at the times that we are in now, the times with all these AI disruptions, foreign aid cut-offs, joblessness or job losses. I'll say job losses because some of them resulted because of these foreign aid cuts, recent ones. And yes, there was unemployment before as well. And then now there's also rising costs and obviously things like unemployment, just to name a few. So we're just looking at that. We're here to investigate possibilities within these current realities. And we want to explore how we can turn these obstacles into opportunities, and then also how we can maximize moments to create options for ourselves and do it in such a way that it will enable elevation amidst all these things that we're dealing with, right? And so on that note, we'll just quickly go for a quick break, a short one. And then, but before we do that, I would like to say, please, 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 like, share, so that, and comment as well, but most importantly, share, so that those people who are not here can also get to benefit and, participate as well. So on that note, I like to say, see you shortly.
In a minute.
Innovative instigation. Innovative instigation.
It feels like the best of times and yet the worst of times. We are seeing it everywhere. Tariff wars, the rise of AI, unemployment issues, underemployment, and even poverty. As the situation unfolds and new obstacles hit us daily, what do we feel? More fear, frustration, and stress. And then the questions hit. How can we possibly succeed in all this? Where are the real solutions? How do we even find the right path? Building your brands, building your online presence by leveraging social media platforms. It can all seem impossible, like too much to handle. But here's the truth. The situation isn't just challenging, it is demanding. It's demanding you and me to step up and claim our unique value, to set up a digital presence that actually works, to show up authentically and connect, to stack up strategies for real growth, and ultimately to stay up strong and impactful, no matter what comes next. This is the blueprint for thriving. Are you ready to meet today's demands and conquer tomorrow? This transformative summit is completely free to attend. Don't miss out. Secure your spots for the Step Up, Set Up, Show Up, Stack Up, and Stay Up Summit.
Innovative instigation.
I remember some months ago, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to follow. I didn't have a voice, I thought. All I did was gallivant from one space to another, consuming without giving, forgetting that there's much more blessing in giving than in receiving. I needed to hit a certain height before I can give, I thought. So when I appear, they will notice my presence, acknowledge my essence, and I can make a difference. But that is where we all got it wrong. From predatorship to followership to leadership, no one has it all figured out. Little did I know there was a space for me, enough to speak up, a platform to step up and set up my enterprise, scaling up my little efforts gradually to stack up accolades and eventually doing what I can do best to stay up. It is the Lord that lifts a man, but the man refusing to be lifted remains on the ground. What's in your hand? Your brand. Don't miss this chance. Take a glance. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. You have a voice to change the world. Showing up is not a choice. It's a mandate. Go into the world. Stepping up is not pride. It is being an intentional steward. Stack up. From zero to hero, you can make figures with many zeros. Maintain your steez. Bounce back and stay up every time. You have a problem to solve. Your physical space may not be enough. Blow up in the air and everyone will hear. That's the power of social media. With advancement in technology, AI is a bonus. Your voice is unique and precious, a remedial to the lost. It may seem like a ditch, but it will resonate in our minds no matter the pitch. Overcome the glitch. As far as you show up, there will be somewhere to fit. Nothing is done in vain. Your audience awaits. Till when will you keep them in space, thinking and waiting for their savior? The HR professional, the health professional, the accountant, the student, the trader. Start now. Link in now. The time is tick-tocking. Show up while discovering yourself, because since primary school we have been solving for X. When we thought we had found it, the next text asks us to find it again. Infinity may not be enough to discover yourself. You are an X always being discovered. Discover as you go. Pay as you go. Take a snap of your future. Chart it in your mind. Look your face in the mirror. Streak it in a book. Legacies worth emulating. You are the hook. Captivate us by words and looks, because your show up will register your name. Your step up will birth forth a niche. Your setup will attract the right gifts. Your stack up will make you trustworthy and fit. And your stay up will make you recognized, giving more room for impact. You could be a household name too. The choice lies with you. I'm Beatrice Kenkonu.
Innovative instigation. Innovative instigation.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Lianza Mtembu from Innovative Instigation Enterprise, and I'm with
Tshepo Tselayakosi, still from Innovative Instigation Enterprise.
Yes, and we're still streaming live from the kingdom, the wonderful and beautiful kingdom of Eswatini, and you're welcome, and we are so happy to have you. And we'd like to also welcome our audience as well. Thank our audience for joining this session. It's going to be a very good session. And before we start or do anything, it's a great thing to actually applaud Beatrice for the wonderful poem. So can we please all applaud Beatrice for such a wonderful poem? Yes, amazing. I really love the poem so much because it actually sets the scene of the current realities that we're living in. The whole summit is about us leveraging social media in order to build resilient brands that thrive and make impact. So it's very important for us. I think the call of action that I got from the poem is that we need to actually step up and take full responsibility, of the outcomes that we're looking for. right? We all have aspirations. We are all inspired by something, but we need to step up and know that there's a space for us. You said something interesting, that there's a space for you, right? So there's a space for every brand, whether you're Nigeria, Ghana, Eswatini, Botswana, in the US or Europe or Asia. There's a space for you in this global environment that we're living in. So that was the major encouragement that we got from this lovely poem by Beatrice, and I hope that you enjoyed it as well. So getting ready for today's session, it's going to be a lovely session. We have about 4 lovely speakers, panelists that will be with us, joining us very soon. But before they join us, we'd love to set the scene a bit, right? So I'd love to first recap on yesterday's 2 sessions. We had lovely sessions yesterday. We had Precious and Deborah. They spoke lovely about the importance of leveraging social media in order to build communities. Right, they spoke around topics of building trust, why it is important to build trust. They spoke around topics of safety, right, creating a safe space for communities to thrive. They spoke around topics of value, that the value that you curate and you deliver for your community. So I just want to do a quick recap of that, just to bring us aboard and move with the flow of the summit. So these are some of the wisdom nuggets that they shared with us to help us elevate and grow our brands. So the first thing that I took note of is that in order for us to have impactful communities and build communities that last and brands that last, we need to create a sense of belonging, which is something which is very important. Creating a sense of belonging where people with a shared and a common interest can meet. So that's one of the wisdom nuggets that we got yesterday. And the speakers as well, they spoke about how one of the great things that you get from the community that you build is that you get sort of like a feedback loop. It creates an easy feedback loop. So it's easy for you to get feedback from your community on how to improve your product, improve your service, on how to build. In our days, we call it co-creation. And we are living in a space and time whereby we need to co-create. If you are a business owner, right, you need to be able to co-create your services, co-create your products, whether physical products or digital products. You need to co-create them with the people that you're making them for. You can't make something for someone and not know what they feel about it, right? So you need to do that testing. Very important. And a lovely thing that they said as well is that if you stand for the interest of your community, then rest assured that your community will stand with you as well. So as a brand, as a business owner, as a professional, building a brand which you seek for that brand to thrive and to make impact and to change people's lives. Because the reason why we build brands is because we want to impact people's lives in a very positive way. So if you're going to change people's lives, if you're going to build a community that thrives, you need to be focused, and you need to give time, give attention to the interests of that community. A lovely thing that they shared with us yesterday. Then they said, in order for you to keep your community engaged, make sure that you dwell in that common area of interest. Make sure that you dwell in that common area of interest. Because the reason why the community is growing is because of that common area of interest. I'm reminded about the session that we had, I think the day before yesterday, about landing pages, right? And we mentioned how landing pages lead people into a common thing, right? They sell you one particular thing. So you are very sure that whatever you are leading people to is what they are looking for. So now when you build a community around that single point of focus, that single area of interest, you are allowing the people to be able to express themselves within that context, right? So for the community to grow, maintain the context, a lovely thing that they shared with us yesterday. The authors as well shared, the speakers, they shared on networking, that networking is a skill. It's something that you intentionally learn how to do, right? There's no, I'm an introvert, I don't like speaking to people. When the world is really changing, the world is facing a lot of issues, a lot of problems. And each and every one of us, we have a part to play. As a professional, you have a part to play. right? As an organization, whether a small business enterprise or a large business enterprise, you have a part to play in your community. There's something you can do. There's something that the business exists to solve, right? So they said that learn how to network, because networking will help grow that brand, right? It'll help grow that brand. So when you network, do not network just because you're looking for clients. That's what they taught us, right? Because networking can also connect you with contributors, people who will help propel what you're trying to do. Okay, so networking as well will help build partnerships. One of the things that we always talk about and are very intentional about with Tsepo at IIE is that beyond working with people, beyond connecting with people, right, we seek to build relationship. That's one of the most important things that we intentionally seek to do. So even in this event like this, while we're working with the different the panelists, wonderful panelists, we are also seeking to build relationship, because we believe that it is in these things that you are able to grow the impact that you can make as a brand, as a business, as a professional. It cannot be just by yourself. This world is not about there's no Rambo in this brand building topic. You need to have people that you build with. That's what one of the authors, the speakers yesterday, they spoke about it, that you can't build on your own. It takes a community to build, right? Then the last thing that they mentioned, which is very important, is that your community is your greatest asset. Your community is your greatest asset. I'm not sure if Tsepo has something else to add into this before we bring in our speakers, lovely panelists today. I'm not sure if do you have something to add before I say one more thing?
Yes, what I just wanted to just point out was that one of the speakers spoke about how make a distinction between followers, how followers they just watch, whereas a community builds with you. So it goes back to the co-creation, how you need the feedback loop to be able to know what you are building, if it's on point, if it's in alignment to what they need, because anything you're creating, it's for a particular audience, it's not for everyone, and you need to get feedback from them to know whether it's appropriate or relevant for them and how they would like to do it and all. Then they also made mention of how the community is actually an ecosystem. That's how it is. And that obviously we're looking at how community and relationships are an asset for a business. So that points back to that. Mm-hmm. The rest, you've already highlighted. And that as leaders, firstly, if you are building a brand, you need to be trustworthy and credible, and make sure that as you are doing it, then you are going to be building or creating leverage that's going to help you so that the brand can thrive and fulfill its purpose, mission, and all of that. But other than that, you've already said it, you've captured it well. And so, we are ready.
That's good. I'm very excited about today. We'll have very good conversations today, right? And our lovely panelist will be joining us very soon. But I just felt it important that I just paint a quick picture of a timeline that sort of leads to the times that we're living in, right? We're talking about AI disruption. We're talking about machine learning. We're talking about large language models. All of those things which are happening within our the global space at large, right? These things are actually changing the world. They are reshaping how things work, how we're supposed to understand our environment, the workplace, right? Branding and all of those things, how to build organizations that last, right? So it was interesting for me to start and just lay this foundation, just to set the scene for our very good conversations which we'll be having. So I was just interested about the whole idea of the various industrial revolutions that have occurred in the past, many past years right ago. So the first industrial revolution 1.0, right, which happened in 1784, was the mechanical revolution, right, which changed the world, changed how things work. What was it speaking to? It was speaking to the rise of machines, right, in production. So no longer did people need to work in the farms, but slowly machines were coming into that space in order to drive production within those places. Because in those times, if you're gonna be wealthy and rich, you had to have farms, land, and all of those things, right? Raw materials, have access to raw materials. So now there is an era of machines which were coming into the space, right? And railroads were being built. It just changed how things work. No longer did you have to have 100 people in the farm. You can have 2 people in the farm who are supposed to control the machine and just make sure that everything is happening in the way that it's supposed to happen. So that's changed what life meant to the people. Because if your whole life, your whole generation, you were working in the farm, you know, from your great grandfather to your father and all of that. Now, such a change, a global change, it put people in a place whereby they were misplaced. What do I do with my life, right? What do I do with my career? How do I live, right? How do I feed my children? All of those things. So it brought a change in our environment. And the second one was Industry 2.0, right? And that as well came with the rise of electricity. As an electrical engineer, it's something I really appreciate. So electricity changed everything. You know, it changed how economies work. You know, it changed how fast you could build an economy and what you could do within an economy. And that a period as well, it came with the advancements in telecommunication, which meant that people could start to talk, right? And I think electricity meant people could work longer hours as well. You know, electricity meant that other things could thrive and could be built because that foundation was now already existing. It changed the world. Industry 3.0, that's the digital revolution, right? That's the introduction of the personal computer, right? Changed the world, changed how the work environment worked, right? People were rushing to learn how to do typewriting, you know, to learn how to use a computer, learn Microsoft, learn how to, because that's where the opportunities, because one thing we need to realize is that the opportunities were moving with the changing times, okay? So if you were reluctant to move with the change would actually displace you, right? Just like the times we're living in now, there's so much change. If you're reluctant to move with the change and to be willing to deal with the climb, there's a lot of things to learn, new things which are to learn. Some things are scary, but if you are not willing to take that journey, the changing time will leave you behind, right? And you will not be able to create that leverage for your life, for your business, and for your brand. Digital revolution, automation came in, the internet came in, global supply chains came in, right? Electrical engineer, we started to move from analog to digital, right? Changing our equipments that we use to generate power, to transmit power, you know, all of those. That's when the things started to happen. Industry 4.0 is what they call the intelligence revolution. That's the Internet of Things. Everything becomes connected. Everybody can see everybody, right? Google Earth, all of those things, right? Things are joined, right? It's big data. Businesses were now working around this because as these things were happening, businesses, because how a business works, right? You need to look at the external environment. How is the external environment changing, right? And how will it affect you, both positively and negatively? So businesses start to say, hey, we need data analysts within our organizational structure. We need people who will be able to make sense out of all this data that we're collecting from our customers, right? Why? Because that was supposed to influence business decisions, right? The intelligence revolution. Robotics became a thing. Virtual assistants became a thing, right? Remote work started to become a thing, right? Because these things ushered new possibilities around brands, whether personal, whether career brands, whether business brands, they ushered the new. So the question is, where are we now? Right, where are we now? So right now, we are in something they are starting to call the human-centered revolution. That's where we are now. And this is characterized by human-machine collaborations. Doesn't that sound like AI?
AI.
It definitely sounds like AI, right? So what does that mean? Going back to that timeline and realizing the pattern of things, if you do not understand the times that you're living in, you are disadvantaged. You are living your life in a risk. You are living your business at a risk, right? We're talking about building resilience, right? Both in business and career, right? We're talking about branding. what times are we living in? So this is a time of the knowledge economy, the digital economy, where everything is happening online, right? Everything is flying over the airwaves, the radio waves, the internet waves, business transactions, everything. The global economy is sitting within the digital economy and the knowledge economy. So our lovely speakers, these are some of the things they'll be engaging us on today. And we're going to have a very lovely panel sessions for our audience, very lovely. So what's happening in the knowledge age, right? Knowledge and intellectual property are driving the economy. Knowledge and intellectual property are driving the economy. What you know will be an area of advantage. What you do not know then quickly becomes your area of disadvantage. What you are able to create, intellectual property, what you are able to create can become your wealth building machine. That's the knowledge economy, right? That's why we're seeing people that are making a lot of money out of education and training. A few years ago, there were so many barriers towards education. People now can learn anything and everything at the University of YouTube. They don't have to pay the millions of dollars to go to University of YouTube, and they can make something amazing out of their lives. They can build amazing brands without going to Harvard, without incurring any student debt, student loans. That's the times we're living in. Media and entertainment. There's been a decentralization within that space. People are creating their own media houses. People are being entertained by content creators, right? That's the time that we're living in. And how do we create leverage for our brands in these particular times that we're living in, right? So with all these things happening, things like your employees, they become your greatest asset. If I can ask you, Sepo, how much does it cost a business to lose an employee they've trained for 10 years? They've taught the work, they've helped build their skills and expertise for 10 years. How much does it cost to lose that employee and have to hire a replacement who's going to start from zero? Or probably 4, who doesn't have the context of the organization, who may not also gel with the organizational culture. How much will it cost? So your people, they become your leverage because of what they know, because we're in the knowledge economy. They become your leverage as an institution, right? So guys, it's just setting the scene of the session that we're about to start into just right now, right? But all of these things, they actually informing us that this is why branding matters. This is why branding matters. Nobody can run away from it. So I like to ask my audience to brace themselves for a wonderful discussion with our wonderful panelists, and I'll ask Sepo that after the break we go for a short break. Then after the break, she'll be introducing our lovely panelists, and we just get straight into it.
Innovative instigation.
Hi, so we're back, and we're about to get into the panel session. It's Tepotela Khosi, I'll still say it to you, of Innovative Instigation Enterprise.
And I'm Leanza Mtembu from Innovative Instigation Enterprise.
Yes, and we are going to be having our panel session, which is titled Positioning to Stack Up and Stay Up as Career Leaders. And that is why we were setting the scene to give a context about where we are in terms of, the timeline of development and what it means. Clearly, with how things are happening now, it's a call to leadership. We can't do things the same way as before because how things have been working is changing. Therefore, we also have to change. We need to make adjustments, So having said that, we need to discuss on these things, and we want to investigate how we can navigate in all of this and what we can do to create those opportunities and maximize the moments, because there are moments, it's not like we can be passive about what is going on. Clearly there has to be opportunities and we have to win no matter what. That is it. So having said that, we would like to welcome the panelists. The first panelist's name is Daniel, and I'm not very good at pronouncing his surname, so I want him to be the one who's going to say it to us, and I'll say that. So let Daniel say his name, his full name and surname, and then I'll proceed. I'll introduce one by one like that. Thank you.
Well, thanks for that. My name is Daniel Sechuafia, and I'm from Ghana. Thank you.
Daniel Sechuafia from Ghana.
That's fine. That's good.
Yay. Okay. And then we also have Lucy. Okay. We have Sylvia Ademang. I'm pronouncing it kind of like how I would say it in Setswana, but please you say it for us.
I actually pronounce it.
Okay, Sylvia Ademang. Okay, and then we also have Oh yeah, please help me now. Please help me. Okay, I'll say Afran. Okay, see. Okay, I hope I said it well.
Yeah, you got it right.
All right. Thank you so much. And then we have Lucy Amoakwa. Okay. Right.
Who will be joining us?
Well, who will be joining us? Yes, of course. Yes. So, what is interesting is that our panelists have a big thing in common. They're all from Ghana.
By a tech team.
They are from Ghana. And then, I'm from Botswana. And my partner here, Leanza Mtembu, is from the Kingdom of Eswatini.
Oh, yes.
So, yes, we're so excited to be proceeding and doing this wonderful session because, hey, we have to find solutions. Yeah. We cannot play with this. We have to win no matter what. All right. So, we'll be proceeding, the first thing that I'm going to ask or that we start to do is since we have already gotten to the point of recognizing that AI is causing disruptions and the joblessness and rising costs and underemployment, and in some ways it feels like even though technology is coming in, it's supposed to make things better, like with AI and automation, at the same time it's bringing other complications, and people don't even know what they have, what to do in some ways. Again, sometimes it feels overwhelming, it's scary, it's stressful, a lot of things actually. So now, since we have to make adjustments, what exactly can we start doing? Where do we even start? I'll start off by saying that, okay, clearly we cannot even continue with our just normal thinking patterns and what we define as success, career success, like go and get a degree and then you're going to get a job and then you're going to be fine. That's not happening. It's not really working. It can't just happen like that. So I wanted to ask our panelists to start off, with that part, to talk about how, they think that we need to redefine success in terms of career leadership in our African continent, since we know that, okay, in my case, I'm from Botswana, I know my own dynamics and issues in terms of the country, and then with Eswatini, and at the same time you guys in Ghana, plus the fact that we're individuals who are from different backgrounds, different training, different experiences. So that's why we need the perspective from you guys, individually, from those that factoring all of those things. So I'll start with you, Danielle. How do you think that we need to redefine success for career leadership in the time that we're in now?
All right, so thanks for having me. We are in a changing world. I think your co-host has given us the various times and the various revolutions that we have been through. But I think that for us, what is important for us in our time in redefining success is to prioritize your growth and stability. Now, you have to redefine success in your own means. People have different metrics for defining success. People have different metrics for defining growth. But for me, defining success is what makes you happy. You finding out what makes you happy, the value you hold dear to yourself, and then doing whatever it takes for you to make sure that those values are what are achieved. So if I am someone who is passionate about um, poverty, and maybe what do I do? Maybe if I see someone being elevated from that background, then I am happy and then I am successful. It is not about the number of cars, the number of degrees that you possess. So for me, it is important that you redefine success in line with your values, the things that you hold dear to you, and then you have to prioritize your growth. So for instance, if you are able to achieve what you have planned for your life in terms of your career, maybe you want to be the best surgeon in Ghana or in Tanzania or in Eswatini, then what do I do to get to that status? Who is the best surgeon in Eswatini? Who is the best surgeon in Africa? And what did the person do? What can I do differently to get to that level or even be better? Because maybe I want to be better off than that person. So you have to prioritize your growth. You have to know where you are, what you have to do to get to where you want to get to, and then what do I do to sustain myself at the top. And for that sustenance, you must make sure that you keep on learning. So you cannot sideline continuous learning. So for me, these are the things that when you do these are the ways of redefining success in your own terms, because most of the times we tend to look at other people, we tend to measure ourselves against other people. But here is the thing: everyone has a different vision, everyone has a different purpose, everyone has a different, how do we call it, goal for himself. So if you are measuring yourself or your success against someone's, then you might be in the wrong bus. And tonight, I think it is the right time. You see, when you are in the wrong bus, the best thing to do is to alight at the next bus stop, because the longer you go, the farther you are away from your goal. So I think these are the ways that you should redefine success in our context. Thank you.
Make their input there to shape the conversation. So we'd like to ask Sylvia the same question. How do you think that we need to redefine success
African context.
in our context as Africans or leaders who are African? Yes.
Okay. So I remember growing up, I used to think, being successful is having a lot of money, you know. But um, as I grew up and I'm still growing up, I realize it's far beyond that. It's not that money is not important, it is, but it's far beyond that. So redefine Africa starts with, to me, it starts from shifting from external validation to internal transformation, working on yourself internally. It's no longer about the money like I thought it was. Like it's beyond that. That's what I'm trying to say. It's beyond that. So to me personally, success is becoming a person of value. That is to me a person of transformation. Yes, because I love to see people become better. And so with the work I do, I help them to um, see that transformation from within. And so by doing that, we need to ask ourselves the right questions. It's something I came to learn with time. Asking ourselves the right question. Who am I becoming? What impact am I making? Who am I helping? That is to me how I define. So in the process of achieving whatever goal you set for yourself, we need to ask ourselves who we are becoming in that process. So it's not just about gaining the material things. Of course, it's not bad. But then beyond that, who are you becoming? Who are you impacting? Who are you influencing? Who can point hands at you and say that, "Oh, okay, thanks to this person, now I'm here and that and that." Right. And also, one thing I'll add is our careers or whatever decision we intend to make in terms of our careers, it should reflect our convictions, it should reflect our values, what we stand by, and not just our conditions. Okay. So for instance, um, you what you stand by is how do I put it? What you stand by is integrity, a person of responsibility, thought leader. It's your whatever you intend on doing should reflect your core values. These are what you stand for. It should go beyond just your condition. So you becoming successful is I know you want to change the condition, but then it should go beyond that. Who you are becoming, it should reflect your core values as well. So that in the face of adversity, you can rise by what focusing on growth, resilience, and the courage to create opportunities where there seems to be none. So in all, for me, redefining success is from shifting from external validation, instant gratification. What people will say about us if I have this, if I have that, if I have that. Rather than working on ourselves and asking ourselves the tough questions, who we want to become, the impact we want to make, and also be open to continuous growth, like Daniel said earlier. Because this is where how you are defining success. This is where you want to. So it is going to demand a lot of work on yourself. You need to become better. Like scripture says, lack of knowledge, my people perish. You need to keep adding value to yourself. You need to keep growing constantly. And at the end of the day, it's who you are becoming, who you are impacting, who you are influencing. And it all starts from within. So it goes far beyond the instant gratification that we seek. But then who we are becoming, how we are internally transforming. Thank you.
Um, Hi everyone. I don't know if you can hear me because I'm struggling to hear you a bit. But moving on to the question, I'd like to just say a very quick story about myself. So before I got into digital marketing, I used to be a mathematics teacher in high school, right? And for a long time, where I'm coming from, the definition of success is go to school, finish school, get a job, and then the next thing is like get married, like start a family. That was the definition of success that I was raised up with. But along the line in my teaching career, I realized that this is not what success means to me. I don't just want to do this and then I feel like it's time to move on, or like it's time to, like, this is okay for me, right? And so I realized that success isn't about my 9 to 5 job anymore. It's about building something that is like sustainable, something that is, for me, it is like very purposeful, and something that I could be adaptable to. And so, purposeful, I had to look within myself and then see what my actual purpose is, what I want to, the direction when it comes to career that I want to go to. And so, like the others said, I had a sit down conversation with myself to define what I actually wanted to do. And I think that in defining success, that is the first thing that you should do. Sit down, have a conversation with yourself to define what success looks like to you. And then from there, you can start building something that is sustainable, something that is adaptable. We can have a look at Kojo Sheldon. If you don't know him, please go and look for him on social media. When Kojo Sheldon started his whole podcast agency, it wasn't something that is very loud in Ghana. It was new, but then he defined his purpose, what he wanted to achieve, and he set a long-term goal. And today, Kudushoda is one of the most like successful people when it comes to the podcast industry in Ghana, when it comes to agencies like this in Ghana. And so, the first thing I would like to tell you is that please have a sit-down conversation with yourself, define what your purpose is as a person, and try to build something that is sustainable. Okay, try to build something that is sustainable. It should not be something that could collapse because AI is shifting into our industry. It should be something that can withstand the test of AI, the test of the changes in the market. Learn to upskill yourself every day. When I left teaching, I moved into digital marketing. And even before that, another degree in communication where I majored in social media marketing. But when I left teaching, it was that degree was more of theoretical for me, right? So I needed to move into something more practical. So I dedicated time to learn the whole practical side of social media marketing. Enrolled myself in a certificate course in digital marketing. And so once you define your purpose, you are able to know which road that you want to go. Then you start building something that is sustainable. So you start small, upscaling yourself, and then adapting to the changes that it comes with. Make sure that the skills that you're learning, and luckily for this panel, we are all into the digital space. It is a skill that you need in the era that you are now. Make sure whatever you're doing now, try to attach some digital skills to it. It doesn't matter if what you do now is not about, like it's not digital. Try to digitalize your skills right now so that if there is any changes in the economy, if there is any changes in, the digital industry or your industry, it will be easier for you to adapt to the changes that has come. Like I said, there are also people like Udimaya who's using YouTube as a tool to tell African stories. When Woody started, I'm sure that most of us didn't know what YouTube was, but he saw people do it and he decided to define what he wanted to do. and today he's one of the biggest YouTubers in Ghana and in Africa in a whole. There's also Edward Asari, who has built a career through what do we call it? Consistent online visibility. I've followed him for a while. I've seen how he's told his story from then till now, and right now he's one of the biggest digital marketers in Ghana. And so, before I leave off, I just want you to know that please try to define what success looks like for you. Don't look at what other people are doing, like Sylvia said. Sit down, have a conversation with yourself, and then learn what your purpose is, what success looks like for you. And then from there, you can learn to build yourself, upskill yourself, try to do something that is sustainable in the long term. Try to have a skill that is adaptable to the changing needs of our industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, yeah. So we'd like to now hear from Lucy. Okay. All right, then Lucy will continue and join us as we carry on with the conversation.
Okay.
So, okay. So with what we have, spoken about, and in terms of the need to redefine what success is and all of that, clearly it means that for that to happen, something has to shift in terms of our mindset. It already implies that there needs to be shifts, whether it's in assumptions, beliefs, there are stereotypes that maybe, were maybe taken on or subscribed to or limiting us and all of that. And these need to be addressed. They need to be changed so that we can, look at what we need to believe and embrace and be able to embrace this change that's going on and know how to navigate the volatility and uncertainty that we are living in, right? So what mindset shifts do you believe that career leaders need to make? I'll ask Sylvia. Sylvia, you can start off with that. What mindset shifts do you believe that we need to make? What mindset shifts do you believe career leaders need to embrace so that we can be able to thrive? What mindset shift? Do you believe that we need to embrace? I will ask Sylvia, please.
Okay, so for me, one mindset shift I'll encourage us to cultivate is adaptability. Yes, because as we already stated, things are changing rapidly, and you need to also adjust in order to like you need to be able to meet the rising needs of the system. Things are rapidly changing. Yes, and so one mindset shift is adaptability. So, for instance, you can't change the. There is something we say as in change what you can. Okay, so you can't stop the storm, but then what you can do is you can sail through it. You need to be able to adjust. For instance, I'm currently volunteering with an NGO, and the thing is, you are posted anywhere here in Ghana to go and serve as a teacher for 2 years. So I'm currently doing that, and I had to adapt because where I moved from work to school every day, it's not easy, and with everything you're supposed to do, like you need to have a different mindset, but like you need to be able to adjust in order to do well, in order to create the impact that you want to do. And so, as someone who helps people to reframe their thinking, to cultivate the right mindset, the growth mindset, one thing I encourage is, as young Africans, is to adapt, is to yes, is to know adaptability. Yes, we should be able to adjust when systems change. We should be able to try and also change so that we don't get lost at some point. Because growth doesn't come from, sitting in your comfort zone and you're expecting everything to change. It wouldn't change like that. You need to be willing to step out of your comfort zone. You need to be willing to challenge yourself. That is how you grow. There are most people who um, um, at some point they say they want to become perfect before they want to become an expert. But then to me, I see that, and something that I've come to learn alongside is you become an expert through the process, right? So we need to be able to adjust wherever we find ourselves. We need to be able to try and not necessarily fit in, but whatever the situation is demanding of us, we need to be able to adjust to be able to meet those needs. So that is one powerful mindset shift that has worked for me and is still working for me. And I would encourage everyone here, every youth out there, to cultivate its adaptability. It's not easy, but it's a very important try say tool or strategy. Yes, looking at where we find ourselves now. And that it should be behind as we move forward. Thank you.
How about you, Daniel?
All right. So Sylvia just spoke about adaptability, and I think the times are changing. The sad thing is that the times are changing. So if you don't change, the time does not need your permission to change. Systems do not need your permission to change. So it is only us who can adapt to the changes in systems. So I think I would add my voice to what Sylvia said. Then the next thing that works for me is being solution minded, being solution focused. Now, all the time we complain about poverty, we complain about corruption, we complain about every other thing. But for once, we do not ask ourselves, how can I be a solution? And mind you, the moment you think about solution, that is when you create something, you create a business, and that is where money comes from. So instead of us focusing on the solutions, on the problem, sorry, we need to shift our minds and start thinking solutions. Instead of focusing on the problems, we need to shift our minds and start thinking solutions. Something happened in Ghana, I think towards the end of last, that has almost all the sanitation contracts, making sure that the cities are clean and all of that, the gutters are clean. But all the time, the gutters are choked. But then there's this group of young people who took it upon themselves to clean the gutters, to make their environment clean. And now they are trending all over. Even the government is even giving them support. What do I want to say? Instead of us saying, oh, it is someone's work to do, they have been paid to do that, we should rather think about how do we, in our own small ways, contribute to the solution. I think we need to do that. And then as a finance person or as a personal finance advocate, one thing that has worked for me also is delayed gratification. Okay, delayed gratification. So sometimes you think that, oh, I need to get this, but if you delay that thing for a little moment, you would have used that money, you would have used that time to do something which will yield dividends in the future. So delayed gratification has worked for me. You see most youths holding an iPhone 16 or whatever, and then they'll be asking and be requesting for support, someone to invest in their business ideas. Meanwhile, you are holding a whole capital in your hands. So the things that have worked for me, adaptability, like Sylvia said, then um, being solution oriented, and then the last thing is delayed gratification. Thank you.
So for me, one thing that I have learned in this journey is that certainty is not a requirement for progress. You don't need to be certain of what the outcome is going to be before you start. Okay. And as people who are aspiring to be career leaders, we need to move from the mindset of uh, I need everything figured out to like I'll figure everything out as I go. The world is changing fast. So what might have worked for you yesterday is changing today. It is not the same thing. In my own journey, when I was shifting from teaching to marketing, I had to adopt the learner's mindset and then keep evolving. And so I wasn't looking at. I'm still not looking at. Uh, I'm still not looking at being, let's say, Edward Asari right now. I'm just looking at enjoying the process, learning as I go, studying, picking up the skills that are needed, and then as I go, if I get to the point where I think I've made it, I'm sure I would want to learn more. And so you don't need to find out the result. It is not technically possible to know what the result is going to be, even in certain experimentations. Scientists don't usually know what they are aware that this is how it might turn out, but they
Okay.
can't say for sure that this is exactly what is going to happen. And so you don't need to be certain of what your outcome is going to be. Just enjoy the process, go through the process, go through the necessary requirements, and try to build yourself from there. And then when there is failure, one thing that one of my lecturers would say is that failure is not really a bad thing. It tells you that now you have found out several ways of not achieving something particular. And so when you fail, it's a sign of growing. You figured out that if I do this, then I'll fail. So let me not do that again. Go through the process, enjoy the process as you go. Also find out something that you actually like. As part of my journey, one of the things that I've learned is that if you like what you do, it is easier for you to go through the process. It is easier for you to enjoy the process. It is also very easier for you to give value to your community. And so figure out something that you like to do or whatever you are doing now. If you like it, then it is not about the result. It is about the process that you're going through. It is about what you're doing now, the small, small skills that you are picking up, the network that you're building, the value that you're giving to your community. Then it eventually get, you know what, the human mind is in such a way that even when you get to your goal, there is another goal after that. So you would want to keep progressing from there. You don't need certainty. You just need to enjoy whatever you're doing and enjoy the little things that you're picking up. And then it will be an easier process for you. Thank you.
Our panelist. So, in the first part, in redefining success, Daniel was reminding us the importance of how success needs to go hand in hand with your values. So, in your own journey of success, just make sure you do not lose your values along that path. Then, the second thing that he said, you need to prioritize your growth. He said, you need to learn from others and keep on learning and make sure that growth is a personal goal. In that vein, Sylvia mentioned that transformation is internal. It starts with you, right? Nobody will shock you into that. It needs to come from within. Then the external will follow what is internal. Sylvia also mentioned that we need to become people of value. We need to strive to become people of value. If you're going to attain any kind of success in any field of interest, you need to become valuable, right? Because a million people are doing the same things that you're doing. That's just the honest truth. A million people have the same qualification that you have. That's just the honest truth. But if you thrive to increase your value, that's how you end up differentiating yourself. Another thing that Silva added is that we need to ask the right questions. I really resonated so much with that because I feel like sometimes we never ask the right questions, and that's why we find ourselves stuck even in these tough times, right? So if you ask the right questions, it's like how people are aware of the current and ongoing disruption, but they're not really thinking too much of what does this mean to my life? What does it mean to my career, right? What does it mean for my business? how do I need to make those readjustments? So that was a powerful thing. Then lastly, in redefining success, she said that for her, success was going to school, getting a job, and getting married, right? So one thing that I personally picked up from that is that, just tying along what everybody said, that success is very personal and it depends on your personal goals. Success can be broken down into the different components of your life, right? That was just triggered about the marital component. So that's what spoke about. But she said that success is actually living a life of purpose. What is your own purpose? What is your purpose as an individual? You cannot be successful if you do not reflect. That's what she said. You need to find your own path, and you need to build the relevant skills, relevant for the time, and do not be afraid to start your own path. So that was the first session around building and redefining success. The second part was about a thriving mindset. Sylvia said that adaptability and learning to adjust to the changing times is a skill that you need to learn and to do. And she said that there is no growth inside your comfort zone. There is no growth inside your comfort zone. Daniel added to say that the time does not require your permission to actually change. So if you do not adjust to all of that, then you find yourself in trouble. Then lastly, we had who spoke on how it is important to not be stopped or be hindered from starting just because you are uncertain about how things are going to happen. It's uncertain about the desired outcome. She said that we should start and we should enjoy the process. With those few words, I'd like for us to go to the short break and come back probably in a minute, and thank our audience for joining us. The event is still ongoing and we're still fire packed. Thank you.
Innovative instigation.
It feels like the best of times and yet the worst of times. We are seeing it everywhere. Tariff wars, the rise of AI, unemployment issues, underemployment, and even poverty. As the situation unfolds and new obstacles hit us daily, what do we feel? More fear, frustration, and stress. And then the questions hit. How can we possibly succeed in all this? Where are the real solutions? How do we even find the right path? Building your brands, building your online presence by leveraging social media platforms. It can all seem impossible, like too much to handle. But here's the truth. The situation isn't just challenging, it is demanding. It's demanding you and me to step up and claim our unique value, to set up a digital presence that actually works, to show up authentically and connect, to stack up strategies for real growth, and ultimately to stay up strong and impactful, no matter what comes next. This is the blueprint for thriving. Are you ready to meet today's demands and conquer tomorrow? This transformative summit is completely free to attend. Don't miss out. Secure your spots for the Step Up, Set Up, Show Up, Stack Up, and Stay Up Summit.
Innovative instigation.
right, welcome back everyone. I'm Leanza Mtembu from Innovative Instigation Enterprise, and I'm with,
Tapotela Khosi of Innovative Instigation Enterprise.
and we're still on the last day of our wonderful summit, and we've started to engage a very powerful panel discussions where we have four panelists in our midst, and we are getting into the part 2 of this session, and we're still thanking our audience for being with us, for staying with us. We're still streaming live on YouTube and LinkedIn. Like and share, comment, ask a question if you want to ask a question. We have our lovely panelists to answer those questions for us. So we'll get into the second part right away. I'll start with a quote by Einstein, paraphrase quote. So Einstein actually said that if I have sinned any further, it's because I have stood on the shoulders of giants. These giants are sometimes called mentors. So we'll get into my question for the session, which is in 2 parts. The first part of the question to our panelist is, what role has mentorship played in your journey as you navigated through career challenges? And secondly, how can aspiring leaders find the right mentors to guide them? So that's the question to our panelists. Maybe I can start with Daniel. Daniel, do you want to start on this one? Hello, Daniel. Are you still here? Or maybe we can, maybe you can start, on the question.
Okay, so thank you very much. Personally, I've had just one formal mentor that has really shaped my journey, but I've also had bits and pieces of mentorship moments. Um, so what I did was that before I approached this person as a mentor, I actually tried to support his work on social media. I mean, it was easy for you to support his work because he's a great storyteller, and I enjoy reading a lot. And so what I did was that every day I'll take some time to go on his page and read some of the things I would say, comment, like them, and all of that. And then after a while, I know that he began to notice me. So then it was easier for me to go into his DM and then ask for mentorship. And he was very open to it. And he's been like a very good guide for me since that time till now. One of the things that I can tell you is that you need to give value first if you're looking for mentorship. You need to give whoever you are looking for mentorship from. You need to give them value. They need to see some sort of value in you first, and then you can go on to ask for help. Also, again, you should also be someone who is supportive of their work. Look for somebody in the niche that you do, because as a digital marketer, as someone who hosts podcasts, I can't go to a medical doctor and say that, oh, please will you be my mentor? There's no alignment in there. And so find someone that is in your niche so that it will be easier for you to relate to their work. It will be easier for them to give you the advice from their career. And so one of the places that I would recommend is LinkedIn. Of course, it is one of the most important tools for us as people who want to be career leaders in the future. And so go on LinkedIn, find people in your niche, people who are doing well, people who are starting, and people who are telling their stories out there. Also be someone that puts your stories out there. Like I said, give value, put your story out there, tell people about what you do. It is easier for people to get to know you that way. And so if you reach out to someone for mentorship, they can go on the profile and then look at who you are and then what you do, even before they get into actual conversations with you. And I think that then it is easier for you to build like a relationship with such people. Also try to share your journey a lot, share your journey. And one thing I know is that mentors, they are drawn to momentum. Okay, so if you're asking for mentorship from someone, they want to see what you're doing. Okay, I don't think a lot of the mentors out there are open to mentoring someone that doesn't doesn't post about their life or their career or anything. You're in a digital world. Posting your journey is very important. It is easier for people to find you through that. And so, if you're looking for mentorship, again, give value, post your journey. let it be easier for your mentor to find you and what you do out there. And then go support their work, show that you care about the niche that you're inside. It is easier for them to give advice like that. And then from there, just try to build, your network. It shouldn't be just one person. Build your network, expand it, go for events, talk to a lot of people. One of the things that I've had to crawl out of my shell was actually having conversations, talking to people, having audacity. That is something that my mentor told me. Yeah, have the audacity to ask people questions, have the audacity to ask for the help that you need. Reach out to the big people that you think, hey, this person, will he have my time? Reach out to them. But before you do that, make sure you are giving out the value that you seek so that it is easier for them to connect with you. Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing. What I really appreciated is what you said, that mentorship sometimes, because sometimes we think that you only have to just have one mentor. But what I was bringing into the conversation is that mentorship is all around us, and you do get bits and pieces of mentoring from the different people that you meet. But the most important thing is that you need to be intentional, get into the spaces, because if you're invisible to your mentors, then they can't find you. And if you don't tell your story, then how will they connect with you? Because people connect to stories. I'll bring in Lucy. I hope Lucy is back. Okay, Lucy's still not back. Sylvia, maybe you can you kindly add to and build on the conversation. All right, Sylvia as well. I think she's also gone. Tsepo, is there anything you can add about the idea of mentorship while we wait for the panelists to come back? How do you find mentors?
Definitely, put it quite well in terms of, well, that's what in essence she's talking about: content creation, what you're sharing out there to be able to attract, the type of support that you're looking for. Through your content, you're putting yourself in a space where you're going to, stand out, be seen, and in that way, it's going to attract peers, people that you can collaborate with, and then also the mentorship aspect of it. But the other thing is that, just to add on to what she said, it's mentorship can be happening from tools, content, products, like books and things like that.
Yes.
So that's what I understand when she said moments of mentorship. That's where I see it from. Because in fact, with what she's talking about, I think she spoke a lot about podcasts, podcasters and that. So those are some of the things that I realized with her. I think it just implies that when she's talking about having moments of mentorship, right?
That's good.
But then anyway, Daniel is back with us. May you just kindly answer the question. Okay.
All right. So I will say that my first mentor found me. I didn't find him. He found me. And at the time, he saw something in me that I did not see myself. And he was my teacher at the time. I was in junior high school, and then he saw something in me. My dad wanted me to become a teacher because my dad is a teacher himself, but he says no, to the point that he would disagree with my dad on that path that I wanted to take. And when I grew up to a certain point, I realized that what he saw in me was right, because I don't know what I would have become if I had chosen to become a teacher. Maybe if I had followed my father's advice. But what I want to say is that he found me. So sometimes our mentors find us. We don't find our mentors. And this man has impacted my life in so many ways, not just in my career selection, but in other aspects of life, in so many aspects. But then what I've realized is that various facets of our lives require different mentors, because the mentor you need must be someone who is adept at whatever you want to do at that particular time. So having just one mentor does not cut it. Just one mentor does not cut it. So you need various mentors. And then one thing that I do a lot is pure mentorship. You know, that one, it doesn't come at a cost. You don't need to push so much. There is this colleague of yours who knows something you don't know, who does something with ease. You know that when they are doing that thing that you desire so much, you don't struggle with it. But he's your peer, and it is even easier to go to that person than going to someone who is high up there. And then one thing I realized about mentorship is most of us seek mentors, but we don't want to be vulnerable to our mentors. We don't want to tell them the realities of whatever we are going through. We just paint a halfway picture to them, so then they are unable to help us. But for me, what I've been able to do is that whoever I choose to go to as my mentor, I make sure I tell them the truth. I tell them what I am doing, my vulnerabilities, and then they are able to help you. But then it's not everybody that you can tell your story. But I believe that whoever you decide to choose as your mentor, it must be someone who is worth hearing your story, someone who is worth listening to your vulnerabilities as well. And where to find mentors? They are all around us, in our churches, in our various communities, on LinkedIn, as Yaa said, in our workplaces, and like I said, our peers. So I think these are the roles that mentors have played in my life, and these are some of the places that I've been able to get mentorship. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. That's so spot on. It's incredible.
Yeah. All right. I'm not sure if Lucy's back, but I think before we move on to the next session, I think Tsepo will take us on part 2 of this session before we go to the break afterwards. But it's just to appreciate what has been shared with us by our panelists, that your mentors can be both offline and online. Because maybe something can happen and we can't have those physical events, it does not mean that you cannot continue to draw from mentors, to learn from mentors. Tsepo was just mentioning that you can learn from someone even if you've never met them through a book, and be mentored by them, by all the information and the knowledge that is put in that book for people to thrive and to learn from. So it's quite a powerful way to think of mentorship, both from an online space, since we're talking about how to leverage our social media. Yaa was mentioning events. There can be online events, they don't have to be physical. So it's some of the things that people need to be aware of, and you need to actually get up and actually go find mentors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's very true. Yeah, you've put it quite well, succinctly, these tongue twisters. But yes, that is definitely the case. And the other good thing about when it's a book, personally though, I'm not very crazy about ebooks, but I guess they are there. We have to embrace them within the digital space, because at times some of the books that you want, you have to wait. If you're looking at maybe getting it from Amazon and you have to wait, then the best place may be just to get it on Amazon, but to get the e-version, or even the audio version, so that you can start engaging in the content, because the time you have to wait for the shipping and all of that, whereas you could have started with the whole mentorship process. And a book in particular, or even podcasts, what is good about that type of mentorship is that it's sort of structured. That, okay, this is what the topic or the book is going to be focusing on. So it's taking you on a journey as per whatever the content outline is of the book. And then also the same with a podcast. Even though we have different types of podcasts, but in a sense where you are just knowing that, okay, this is what is being spoken about. And also just like the events, they're also giving mentorship, like what we are doing now. The mentorship in terms of unpacking and the topic of how you can be leveraging social media to elevate your brand. And we looked at various aspects of it. We had, mentorship through the different speakers. They gave their perspective and unpacked, the aspects that it will entail and that will facilitate for us to achieve, these things, looking at the times that we are in and all of that. So yes, but I think that's just that we don't really have to delve too much into it, so that we can, quickly take a break and then get into the last section, because yes, we need to be working towards wrapping up.
All right, amazing. All right, so we're taking a short break and we'll be back in a minute.
Innovative instigation.
Feels like the best of times and yet the worst of times. We are seeing it everywhere. Tariff wars, the rise of AI, unemployment issues, underemployment, and even poverty. As the situation unfolds and new obstacles hit us daily, what do we feel? More fear, frustration, and stress. And then the question hits. How can we possibly succeed solution? When you're building your social media seem like the truth. Demand to claim, to set up a digital presence that actually works, to show up authentically and connect, to stack up strategies for real growth, and ultimately to stay up strong and impactful no matter what comes next. This is the blueprint for thriving. Are you ready to meet today's demands and conquer tomorrow? This transformative summit is completely free to attend. Don't miss out. Secure your spots for the Step Up, Set Up, Show Up, Stack Up, and Stay Up Summit.
Innovative instigation.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, our audience. This is Lianzo Mtembo from Innovative Instigation Enterprise, and I am with
Tapotela Khosi of Innovative Instigation Enterprise.
We're still streaming live from the Kingdom of Eswatini. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on LinkedIn. We're getting into our final session with our lovely panelists today in our lovely summit, which is titled
Step Up, Set Up, Show Up, Stack Up,
and
Stay
Up
Up
Summit. So this is the grand finale. We've been having great and very impactful conversations with our panelists, our lovely panelists, and we are so grateful for that. We hope that you've been enjoying the session as much as we have. I mean, we've been learning. We've been taking notes the whole time. There's just so much to learn. But before we get into the final part of the session, we have a poem by Beatrice. I'm sure you saw the first poem by her that was played, but now she's actually going to give us another live poem. Can we give her a round of applause? Hello, Beatrice, how are you? Are you in the room? Hi, Beatrice. Are you live? Are you? Ah, amazing. Okay, yes. Great.
I'm live.
Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. We'll just leave the floor to you, and you can take the stage.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks once again for the opportunity. My colleague just you have a lot myself. So, yes. You are it all. There will be self-doubt. Obstacles will hinder you from setting up. Poke out heads, and his grace more sufficient.
Innovative instigation.
Excuses will trouble. I don't have time to travel. Every minute is the time to create content. Check up your experiences and knowledge through organizations because you always grab the opportunity. Through those can you skills to stay. You are made for this. You are made for it. The door beyond the boundaries of your country, beyond the scope of your brain, the fibers of your body. If you can think it, then do it. Those things which to your phone ring, bubbling at you to step. Your bed is warm. It's time for action. So when will you stop blaming positions? So when will you point fingers? Oh, roll away your voice. Rise to a new beginning. Arise. More leveraging the social media. You. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Beatrice. I think that we had some, network instability kind of things that were causing, affecting your audibility. So we did hear a few things, yeah. And also we'll still include this in our post-summit package for the registered attendees. Stay up for that. Or stay on the lookout, not stay up for that. And so we'll do it that way to make sure that everybody still does get to hear it. And then just like you managed to hear the other point that she said. So we'll make sure that you'll be able to get it, because yes, we have to be dynamic. We don't control, network connectivity and all of that. This is called real practically navigating uncertainty. Yes, you plan, we don't know, we hope for the best, and then we make it work, right? So it will still work, you'll still get to experience it. And so let's continue.
Yeah, I really love Beatrice's poems. I was just listening to the other one and this one as well. I think it's important. One of the things that we wanted the summit to also sort of like drive is the inspiration around people actually getting up and stepping up into the requirements of what needs to be done for them to elevate their brands, right? So there is the empowerment which comes by the knowledge that is being shared, right? And I love how Beatrice just captures that into a poetic flow and inspires us and tells us that we need to arise and we need to claim our space because we have our space. Tsepo, it's the final session. I'll pass it over to you and you can bring back our panelists.
All right, thank you so much. Just before I just switch on to that, what I wanted to appreciate about what Beatrice's input is that, she is basically spreading the message about the name of the summit, right? That if you look at the title of the summit, those are action verbs in terms of what to do. It's a call to action on how to embrace or behave or participate in this times that we are in now, and all these uncertainty, turbulence, and all of that is being brought about by the different things that are occurring. So I like the way she was able to express that into a poem. And in fact, two poems. The first one is just cultivating to you to say, okay, this was our journey as we're beginning the summit, or as we are going up the summit, right? Now there's a part when you're coming down and you're preparing now to integrate into, life after having had your experiences here in society, and going to practicalize what you heard and trying to, apply it in everything. So the second one is about that, how to frame your mind, how to approach things as you are going, and all of that. So it was just to, be creative in energizing you about it and reminding you of the message that really it's not just a tongue twister, it's not just long words that are just being said for nothing. It's actually a message to remind you that actually you need to unpack things and see what needs to be done so that you can actually get to thrive. That's that. And now, having said that, our last segment, or what is really about looking at what advice, because some of the things were implied, so we had to merge the some of the things that we were going to unpack because they were already touched when we were discussing some of the other points. So just as an end off, we'd like to look at what advice would you, as each of you, the panelists, would be giving attendees, to elevate their brands to their next level of success, and to make sure that they grow in their studies, professions, or businesses whilst leveraging social media. What is the, advice or tips that you want to give to enable them to elevate in their various career leadership spaces? You could be a student, you could be a professional who's already in the workplace, and the other one is you could be a business person. What tips or advice do you want to give in terms of helping them to reach their next level of success, looking at the times that we are in? So I will start with Daniel.
All right. So, what advice do I want to give? As a personal finance advocate, I don't think I will say something without talking about money. Um, so, what I would want to say is that what you need to step up is to take ownership of financial goals, learn the basics of money management. There are a lot of books on personal finance and all of that. Learn the basics of money management, tax, and investments. Most of us don't have any idea about how to even take advantage of some tax incentives. So please, just get some of those knowledge. What do we need to set up? Set up a personal finance system. Budget, save, invest, and make sure you track them. For instance, I have an app on my phone that helps me track every peswa I spend, every CD I spend. I make sure I record it, and it tells me where my money is going, what I am spending on, what is necessary, what is not necessary, and at the end of the day, I'm able to take hold of my finances. So what we need to set up is to set up a personal finance system where you can manage your budgets, your savings, and track your investments, and make sure that you have a business financial clarity. If you are a young professional or you are a solopreneur or whatever, make sure your business accounts are separate from your personal accounts, and make sure that you automate your processes. How can we show up? I would like to quote from the good book. And John chapter 7 verse 4 says, "You can't become a public figure if you hide like this. If you can do such wonderful things, prove it to the world." So what I would want to say is that share your journey online, share how you've been able to save, manage your books, how you have been able to grow, the knowledge you have acquired along the way. You don't need to get to the top. You don't need to become an expert before you share your story. Share your story, educate people whilst you are still learning. Then it will help you build trust in your brand, because people will know where you started from and where you are now. When you just show up as a billionaire, people will start questioning how you got there. But if you are sharing your story along the way, that is how you show up. So when you get to the top, people are able to connect the dots from where you are from and where you are now. So my final thing I want to say is that the foundation to a sustainable career is clarity, and financial clarity empowers every other aspect. So let your numbers tell the story and use them to rise. Thank you.
Oh, amazing. Really good. Nice.
Very nice. Well put. Thank you so much, Daniel. And then we'd like to hear from Sylvia, please. Let's hear your perspective, Sylvia.
All right, thank you. So my advice is very simple and powerful. Yes, and so as a mindset and purpose coach, I'll, I'll say you should step up, set up, and show up.
Sylvia, we can't hear you.
Sorry,
I
Sylvia.
think Sylvia is.
Sylvia, I think you're
Oh,
muted.
okay. All
Hello?
right. Can you hear me?
Uh,
All right, all right.
oh, yeah, we can hear you now.
So what I was saying, okay. So what I was saying early on is my advice is very simple and powerful. Is to step up, set up, and show up. What do I mean by this? So in stepping up, believe that your voice, your story matters. Your voice, your story could be a liberation to someone. So be ready to step up. Be ready to share your story with someone. Be ready to share your, like, let us know you, and believe that your voice and your story is powerful. It will transform someone's life you wouldn't know. Silence doesn't serve anyone. So that is stepping up. And then the second one is to set up. That is, you should be able to build your digital presence. I quite remember I was invited to speak somewhere, and they were all youth students, and you realize that most of them were like, I'm not an expert, so why should I come online? Why should I leverage, if it's LinkedIn, if it's TikTok, whatever platform that works for you? So you can see that it's actually a problem. Most of the youth feel I don't deserve to show up because I'm new to this, I'm young, I have to be an expert first. But I had to tell them that you grow in it. So if it will take you 10 years to become an expert, when you wait for 10 years before you show up, I'm sure at that time you've grown. So if you're like 25, you'll probably be like 35 now. Whatever experience you had to share that moment, you couldn't share. We want to know your growth journey with you. So you don't necessarily have to become an expert, like Daniel said. You don't have to become an expert. You just need to show up. Let us know what you are doing, where you failed, where you were successful. Because people relate to authenticity, right? And so by stepping up, we should be very intentional about what building our digital presence. Our online presence literally sets like our stage. To me, I even say it's your market. It's how you are selling yourself to the world. It's your brand. So use that platform, your digital presence, your online presence, to teach, to inspire like you want to serve, to lead. That is stepping up for me. The advice I'll give. And then the final one is to show up. Show up consistently, show up authentically, be yourself, bold, and stop waiting to be perfect. There's no perfect. Mm. Personally, got to some point I was waiting to be perfect, but what does it mean to be perfect? You know, just show up with what you have, work with what you have. You grow in the process, and that is what people have to see. They want to grow with you. At least you have witnesses who support your journey of success. One day you have people to support you, to say that, oh, I know this person. She was once here, now she's here. He was once here, now he's here. We know her journey, we know his journey. So step up, believe your voice, your story matters. Set up, build your digital presence with intention. Do it on purpose. Use it as your it's your platform. Use it well to teach. Use it to serve. Use it to inspire, to lead, and also finally show up. show up consistently. Consistency doesn't mean every day. If you've decided that you're going to show up 3 times in a week, that is it. You showing up 3 times in a week is you being consistent. So show up consistent, be yourself. Don't have to copy anyone. Like the saying says, be yourself. Every other person is already taken. So be yourself. Your story will relate with someone. Your story will liberate someone. And show up boldly. Stop waiting to be perfect because there's nothing like a perfect time. Thank you.
So much. Wow.
Thank you so much, Sylvia.
Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Really amazing.
All right. Can we please hear from Ya as well? What are your final pieces of advice or tips?
So, in coming from what Sylvia says, I just want to tell you that it's not really about the glossy part. People want to relate to the real part, the late night study, the field campaigns that you do, the things that you are still figuring out, the people who you connect with, the people that connect with you. People want to see proof that you are not alone. For me, when I started my journey with Generation Ghana, trying to get my digital marketing skills, I decided to post it on LinkedIn. And almost every week I was posting twice, telling my story, telling the assignments that I failed, the campaign that failed, the stress that I had to go through. And these are things like Sylvia said, people want to really relate to. And then you also need some form of foundation. You need to figure out the why you are doing this. You need to figure out what you want to sound like when it comes to online. And then you need to use systems. There are a lot of tools that are available for us. As we are very lucky. Our generation is very lucky. We have a lot of tools. We have as a digital marketer, I usually use Notion, I use Trello, I use Canva. There's a lot of tools that are accessible for us to plan our lives, to plan our content, to plan whatever you want to put out there. And so figure out what your foundation is going to be, and then show up even when your metrics is low, even when you post your business, even when you post that LinkedIn content and the metrics are slow. You need to still show up. Consistency is what does this thing for us. The people that you're seeing with very huge numbers online, they didn't start with huge numbers online. I'm trying to start a YouTube channel, so I decided to go to one girl that I know, Amma Berland, her YouTube channel, and then I went to the first video she posted, and I looked at the how the video looked like, the edits of the video, the numbers of that video, and I reached out to her and I was having a conversation here. She was telling me that it was because like the numbers that she has on that first video now, it was because she got popular. But then times when she posted that video, she got like 56 views. And even at that time, she was very excited about it because, like, imagine you having 56 people in a room looking at what you're doing, right? And so it's not just about when your posts are doing well, when you're telling people the stories and you're engaging and all of that. As a digital marketer, I'm telling you, there will be points where your content won't go anywhere. There will be points, and I'm still experiencing it. It took me a whole year to grow my TikTok to 1,000 followers. And then it took me 1 month to grow it from 1,000 to 3,000 followers. And so these times are not very constant. Just do you, like I said earlier, find something that you really enjoy doing. Find something that makes you happy. When you are doing those things, it will not matter if the metrics are low, it will not matter if it's not going well as planned. You enjoy it, so you keep doing it. Another thing I want to say is that it is not too late to start. The space is also not too crowded. Your voice is also not too small. Earlier, I said that have audacity. One thing that I learned from the men that I work with is that they have a lot of audacity. And so, have a lot of audacity. Have the audacity to speak up. Let us hear your voice. Every one of us have unique stories, just as Sylvia said. Everyone else is taking, so you just have to be you. It's not too late for you. The space you are in is not too crowded. Your voice is also not too small. Figure out the impact that you want to put out there, and then stay ready, keep learning, and keep showing up. The right people will definitely find you. I know that the right girls will definitely find you. And even if like they don't start at first, you learn how to build on your own. You learn how to grow on your own. And I'm very sure that your people will find you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Before you even go off, Sylvia, I mean, yeah, you mentioned quite a number of resources, like in terms of podcasts and, people who you helped. I mean, who, like the person with the YouTube as well. I think that for the benefit of, our attendees as well, it would be good if you can make mention of that, or maybe we'll put it together in as part of the post summit resource as well, to include that, because I think it's quite helpful, because part of why we're doing this is also to help people to get connected to solutions, to products, to services and programs that complement what we're teaching about, so that people can get breakthroughs. We were unpacking this to give inspiration and to help people to ideate and see what it is that they need and how it can help them. And also the fact that you heard the individual speakers sharing, their input as far as the message of the summit is concerned. This was to help you, so that you know that, okay, it was just a taster as well, for you to get clarity and get to realize what it is, what are some of the things that need to be considered and all of that. But having said that, they are also available to be reached out to, and that's why we are also saying that we want people to have been registered to use that very link. It's the https / there bit.ly.join tour and step up. Yes, that one, the one that's on the flyer and everything. Please join there, so that we can be able to then connect you, because by you being in there, that is proof that you actually were registered, you actually took part in there. So thereafter we'll be able to then link you up with the post summit bonuses, and yes, there's quite a number, so you'll get to know more about it when you're in that space. Thank you so much, but I'll hand over to Mr. Mthembu here to
Co-founder. Hi again, everyone. You guys have been amazing. Maybe studio, you can give us a round of applause for our wonderful panelists who have done so great and amazing today. In all honesty, did you get that round of applause? You get it? Okay, studio says you got it. In all honesty, I think the conversations that we're having are quite important. And we can't close our eyes to the realities that we are actually seeing and experiencing in different ways. I just want to highlight my final takeaways from the last session. I think it was quite impactful. So Daniel said that it's important to, while you're thinking about your brand, it's important to remember, I think it's something that we sometimes forget to mention. It's important to remember that finances matter when it comes to building a brand. And when we're talking about things like personal development, sometimes those things will cost you money. When we're talking about showing up and setting up, sometimes it will cost you money. But it is worth it, because you are trying to build a brand which is going to impact the people around you, the community that around you, your nation, Africa as a whole, the global environment as a whole. So it was just a powerful reminder that Daniel gave to us today about that. And he also said one thing that is also important, that you can't be a public figure if you are hiding, right? So when you're building a brand, because sometimes people think that when you're building a brand, it's about visibility. I think what we've been speaking about is how to leverage and build that visibility so that you can elevate your brand. So sometimes people are afraid of being in public, but sometimes it takes for you to get into the public space, for you to add the value that you were born to add in your environment. So it's quite a powerful reminder. Silver spoke to us as well about why we have unique stories and why those stories matter. It was a powerful reminder that do not be afraid to tell your own story. That was my own personal takeaway from the session. Yeah, so many things as well, which were powerful, being bold and audacious, and not being afraid to build that brand, not being afraid to leverage the tools that are available for you to be able to elevate and grow your brand. So for me, I just like to thank everyone, thank the audience on this final day of the summit. Thank our panelists for bringing such a powerful conversation and teaching us so much today. We really appreciate it, and we wish you all the best.
Yeah, thank you so much. You'll be definitely hearing from us. Make sure you're registered, and so you can get your bonuses. And I just wanted to say, remember that you are making investment in yourself. It's your personal development. So if you have to pay R5 or $5 or what, it's for you. You are worth that investment. You are worth fighting for. Let's just remember that part. But wherever it is, whether it's about getting a book or what that will entail for you. But otherwise, we are thankful for the time that you have spent, showing up and investing in yourself and participating and commenting. And thank you so much. Good night.
Like the best of times and yet the worst of times. We are seeing it everywhere. Tariff wars, the rise of AI, unemployment issues, underemployment, and even poverty. As the situation unfolds and new obstacles hit us daily, what do we feel? More fear, frustration, and stress. And then the questions hit. How can we possibly succeed in all this? Where are the real solutions? How do we even find the right path? Building your brands, building your online presence by leveraging social media platforms. It can all seem impossible, like too much to handle. But here's the truth. The situation isn't just challenging, it is demanding. It's demanding you and me to step up and claim our unique value, to set up a digital presence that actually works, to show up authentically and connect, to stack up strategies for real growth, and ultimately to stay up strong and impactful, no matter what comes next. This is the blueprint for thriving. Are you ready to meet today's demands and conquer tomorrow? This transformative summit is completely free to attend. Don't miss out. Secure your spots for the Step Up, Set Up, Show Up, Stack Up, and Stay Up Summit.
Innovative instigation.
I remember some months ago, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to follow. I didn't have a voice, I thought. All I did was gallivant from one space to another, consuming without giving, forgetting that there's much more blessing in giving than in receiving. I needed to hit a certain height before I can give, I thought. So when I appear, they will notice my presence, acknowledge my essence, and I can make a difference. But that is where we all got it wrong. From predatorship to followership to leadership, no one has it all figured out. Little did I know there was a space for me, enough to speak up, a platform to step up and set up my enterprise, scaling up my little efforts gradually to stack up accolades and eventually doing what I can do best to stay up. It is the Lord that lifts a man, but the man refusing to be lifted remains on the ground. What's in your hand? Your brand. Don't miss this chance. Take a glance. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. You have a voice to change the world. Showing up is not a choice, it's a mandate. Go into the world. Stepping up is not pride, it is being an intentional steward. Stack up. From zero to hero, you can make figures with many zeros. Maintain your steez. Bounce back and stay up every time. You have a problem to solve. Your physical space may not be enough. Blow up in the air and everyone will hear. That's the power of social media. With advancement in technology, AI is a bonus. Your voice is unique and precious, a remedial to the lost. It may seem like a ditch, but it will resonate in our minds no matter the pitch. Overcome the glitch. As far as you show up, there will be somewhere to fit. Nothing is done in vain. Your audience awaits. Till when will you keep them in space, thinking and waiting for their savior? The HR professional, the health professional, the accountant, the students, the trader. Start now. Link in now. The time is tick-tocking. Show up while discovering yourself, because since primary school we have been solving for X. When we thought we had found it, the next text asks us to find it again. Infinity may not be enough to discover yourself. You are an X always being discovered. Discover as you go. Pay as you go. Take a snap of your future. Chart it in your mind. Look your face in the mirror, streak it in a book. Legacies worth emulating. You are the hook. Captivate us by words and looks, because your show up will register your name. Your step up will birth forth a niche. Your setup will attract the right gifts. Your stack up will make you trustworthy and fit. And your stay up will make you recognized, giving more room for impact. You could be a household name too. The choice lies with you. I'm Beatrice Kinkonu.
Innovative instigation.